I'm very happy to be here today to talk about biodiversity. It's very good that you have a video recording, because the species you hear is the western chorus frog. Now, this frog in the province of Quebec is an endangered species, and the subdivision was stopped just for the purpose of saving the species there. Now, Ontario has also had big losses of this western chorus frog, but fortunately it hasn't been as catastrophic as Quebec. But we shouldn't have to wait for a catastrophe for a species to become endangered to protect the habitat. This forest is protected because it's a provincially significant wetland. It was very difficult to achieve that. There was an application to develop the land, and I filed a request to the Ontario Municipal Board to appeal it. And I had the sense to negotiate with the landowner that a wetland evaluation be done. And it was done. And because of the presence of the rare black gum tree and the blue-spotted salamander, this forest was saved from development by being made a provincially significant wetland. But you see, there's a lot of other species here that aren't yet endangered, such as the western chorus frog, which you hear now. And you don't hear this anywhere. Like today, we've been driving around Niagara Falls, and this is the only place we've heard substantial calls of the western chorus frog. I got a very small number of calls in a 11-acre forest that I was involved in saving near Garner Road, but not an explosion like this. Now, what is perverse about biodiversity offsetting is they say you could, destroy a place like this and then bring back the habitat. Well, how are you going to do that when it takes for years for a mature forest to develop? Often the trees can die and fail. Oak trees that you see around here are very difficult tree to establish, very finicky, very prone to mortality, very slow growing. So let's certainly hope the province in the next few weeks projects biodiversity offsetting, which is a perverse thing that they're still considering. And let's also hope that this entire forest, 500 acres of Thundering Waters, will be protected areas, a nature sanctuary, and not in the future owned by developers seeking to destroy. The unusual frogs that are here are a frog family called the tree frog. There's the western chorus frog that comes out first, the spring peeper, which comes out next, the wood frog, they're the first three, and then the gray tree frog is the fourth. And these frogs are unusual that they all live in trees. They all come out earlier in the spring. There's also frogs here that are more tolerant of urbanization. They're frogs that don't live in trees. They're the green frog and the leopard frog. And you hear them in June, July. And you don't hear them now. And then in some urban areas, you can have a sort of test if you have a forest or a park, if it's being well cared for in a natural way, instead of going in and mowing grass and disrupting the habitat, if you will hear the green frog. Because even though the green frog is a little more tolerant, often the natural habitats are managed so horribly by city parks departments that they can't survive. They even disrupt protected habitat, what should be protected habitat, by mowing down shrubbery and things like that if left alone would, turn into a mature forest. Yeah, I want to talk to now the firing of conservation authorities. I did play a role in protecting this place, but I could not have done it without the support of the staff of the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority. Now, these are the very brave people whose firings are the subject of the pamphlet, The Call. That document has an appendix of 19 names. Now, why the names of those people are there is that when the developer agreed to have a wetland evaluation, he thought it was just going to be a big joke. They would have an evaluation that didn't mean anything, and then they could destroy the forest. But these people went here and they found species the developer denied existed here, and they're misleading studies. They said there was no blue-spotted salamander here. And they came here and they kicked over a log and they found the blue-spotted salamander. And when they did that, the developer's consultants were with them, so they know who found the species. And these people were essentially fired by the politicians in control of the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority, which is essentially why you have the document, The Call. It was a protest against the firing of very dedicated public servants for protecting the very wonders you hear on this video right now. There would be no chorus songs singing if these people did not stand up to the developers, gather the information that were needed to protect this place and become a provincially significant wetland.